Ethan Cole could feel nothing. Darkness pressed on him like a heavy blanket, and the last thing he remembered was the alarm on the cargo ship screaming. The ship had been hit by something. A sudden explosion that threw him across the deck. Pain had filled his body, then everything went black. He thought he was dead. When he opened his eyes, he did not see darkness. Instead, there were soft lights, gentle and blue, and a quiet hum that made the air feel alive. His body ached, but not in the sharp, unbearable way it had before. He could move slightly, and the weight of fear pressed on him. He tried to sit up, but a soft hand pressed against his shoulder. "You're awake," a voice said, trembling. Ethan blinked. The figure beside him was not human. She was tall, thin, and her skin shimmered like silver in the light. Her hair floated softly around her face, white as clouds, and her green eyes were wide and glistening. She looked like she might cry. Who are you?" Ethan whispered. His voice was hoarse, almost a whisper. I'm Leora," she said, voice shaking. You almost didn't make it. I thought you were gone." She wiped at her eyes quickly, as if she were embarrassed for crying. Ethan tried to speak more, but the words caught in his throat. His mind was racing, trying to understand where he was. "Where am I?" Quote, "You're safe," Leora said softly. "We brought you here. You're on a medical ship, far from your world. My world." Ethan's lips trembled. He remembered the explosion, the screams, the flashing lights. He remembered the fear of dying alone. And now he was somewhere else. Alive. Somehow, he was alive. "You're human," Leora said, more like a statement than a question. "You survived something very few humans could survive." She looked at him, her green eyes wide, her hands clasped together nervously. "I didn't think it was possible." Number 4. Ethan's mind spun. He had never seen an alien before. He had never imagined someone like her could exist, let alone that she would be crying beside him. Why did you save me?" he asked. I couldn't leave you," Leora said, voice breaking again. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. "The doctors thought you wouldn't make it. But I stayed. I stayed to make sure you lived." Ethan tried to sit up again. This time, Leora helped him carefully, guiding him to a reclined chair. His body ached everywhere, but he was alive. That thought made his chest tighten with emotion. He had never been so glad to be alive. "You're hurt badly," Leora said. She touched his arm gently. "But you're stable now. You'll recover. It will take time, but you'll heal." Ethan nodded slowly. He looked around the room. Everything was strange. The walls shimmered slightly, and soft lights moved along them. Machines hummed quietly, and panels of light showed shapes and numbers he didn't understand. He had no idea where he was, or what had happened to his ship. Are you an alien?" he asked finally. "I am," Leora said, still nervous. "I am part of the Orcs Union. We help those in need. Even humans." She paused. "Even if you are dangerous," Ethan frowned. "Dangerous?" "Yes," Leora said softly. "Many alien species fear humans. They think you are reckless, strong in ways you do not understand, unpredictable. They say humans bring chaos." Ethan shook his head, confused. "We're just people. We try to survive. We try to help each other." "I know," Leora said, her voice gentle. "But most of the galaxy does not see humans like that. You survived something that should have killed you. That is rare. That is unusual." She looked down, then back at him. "I did not think I would see a human live through this." Ethan tried to think. He thought of his shipmates, the crew, the alarms, and then the explosion. He thought of dying alone, and now he was awake, in a room far from Earth, with a strange alien who had cried for him. He could not explain it, but something in him stirred a mix of fear and wonder. Can I stand?" he asked. Leora helped him slowly. Every movement hurt, but he could feel strength returning. The muscles he thought were gone were still there, faintly, waiting. "Be careful," she warned. "Even small movements can hurt you." Ethan nodded. He tried to remember his life before this. His friends, his home, the blue sky of Earth, the smell of rain. It all seemed so far away. "Why did you save me?" he asked again. "I don't know," Leora whispered. She looked down, twisting her fingers. I couldn't leave you. You were too important. Somehow, I felt it." Ethan stared at her. Something about her words felt strange but true. He had never met anyone like her before, anyone who cared so deeply for someone they barely knew. The thought made his chest ache in a new way, not from injury, but from gratitude and confusion. Hours passed. Leora stayed by his side, checking his vitals, feeding him, keeping him comfortable. She told him he could not leave the medical room yet. Not until his body was strong enough. Ethan listened quietly, watching her work. Every movement she made was careful and precise, as if the life of the universe depended on it. When he tried to sleep, he could not. His mind replayed the explosion, the darkness, and then the strange, quiet room where he had woken. He thought of Leora, and how she had cried for him, how she had stayed even when everyone else had moved on. He realized something he had never understood before. He had survived because someone believed in him. Someone had chosen to care. The next morning, when he awoke, Leora was still there. She smiled, though it was small and nervous. "Good morning," she said. "You slept well." Ethan tried to sit up again. This time, he felt a little stronger. I think I can move more," he said. "Slowly," Leora warned. "Your body is fragile. But yes, soon you will walk again." She paused, her eyes studying him. "Do you want to know what happened? About your ship? Your crew?" Ethan nodded. He had to know. His memories were broken, and the questions burned inside him. "You were hit by a meteor cluster," Leora said carefully. "Your ship could not survive the impact. You were thrown into space, almost lost. We found you drifting, your body barely alive. It was by chance that our ship was nearby. We brought you here and began treatment immediately." Ethan's mind spun. He could hardly believe it. I should be dead," he said quietly. "You should have been," Leora said softly. "But you survived. Somehow. Your body is strong, and your spirit is stronger." She looked at him with something like awe. "That is why I cried when you opened your eyes. I thought I had lost you forever." Ethan stared at her. The words warmed him, even through the confusion and pain. No one had ever looked at him with such care before. He wanted to say something, to thank her, but no words felt enough. For the first time since the explosion, he smiled weakly. "Thank you," he said, "for not giving up on me." Leora blinked, and her eyes glistened again. "You are welcome," she said. I just could not leave you. Not like that." Days passed slowly. Ethan learned the rhythms of the alien ship. Leora taught him to use the medical equipment in small ways, and he learned to trust the gentle machines that measured his health. He began to see small glimpses of life on the ship. The quiet conversations, the strange customs. Everything was alien, but it was also fascinating. Ethan realized that he was not just alive. He had been given a second chance, a chance to see something no human had ever seen before. And beside him, always, was Leora, watching, caring, never leaving. He did not understand why yet, but somehow, that care gave him courage. One evening, as the soft blue lights of the medical room glowed, Ethan looked at Leora. She sat nearby, her head tilted, eyes soft. He realized something important. She had cried for him not just because he survived, but because she saw in him something rare, something precious. Ethan did not know what the future held. He did not know if he would ever return to Earth, but for the first time since the explosion, he felt a spark of hope. And he knew that whatever came next, he would not face it alone. Leora reached out her hand, and Ethan took it carefully. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything. Two beings from completely different worlds, brought together by fate, now connected in a way neither could explain. And for the first time, Ethan smiled without fear. He was alive. And somehow, that was only the beginning. Ethan Cole woke slowly the next morning, still tired, but feeling stronger than the day before. His body ached less, and the dark pain in his head had eased. The soft hum of the ship filled the room. Leora sat nearby, reading from a small glowing panel. She looked up when Ethan stirred. "Good morning," she said gently. "How do you feel today?" "Better," Ethan said. His voice was still weak but steadier. "I can move my arms more. I want to see the ship. Maybe just a little." Leora's green eyes widened slightly. "The halls are safe, but you must be careful. Your body is still healing." Ethan nodded. He sat slowly, testing his strength. When he did not collapse, a small smile crossed his face. "I think I can try." Together, they left the medical room. Leora guided him with careful hands, keeping him steady. The halls of the ship were different from anything he had seen. Soft lights glided along the walls, changing colors slowly. Panels displayed moving images, some showing stars outside, others showing data Ethan could not read. The air smelled clean, with a faint hint of something like flowers. "Where are we going?" Ethan asked. "To the observation deck," Leora said. "It will not take long, and you can sit there. The view is beautiful." Ethan's curiosity pushed him forward. His legs were shaky, but with Leora's help, he managed to walk. His first real step since the explosion felt strange but good. He felt alive in a way he had never felt before. When they reached the observation deck, Ethan's eyes widened. Outside, the large window stretched a sea of stars. So many he could not count. Nearby planets glowed softly, and other ships drifted in the distance. He had never imagined space could be so alive. "It's incredible," he whispered. "Yes," Leora said softly. "This is why we travel, why we explore. There is beauty everywhere, if you know where to look." She paused, then added quietly, "And danger too. Always danger." Ethan frowned. "Danger? What kind of danger?" Leora hesitated. She did not want to scare him. Not yet. "There are many who do not trust humans," she said finally. "Some fear you. Some want to control you. You are strong in ways most do not understand." Ethan thought about it. "I'm just me," he said. "I don't want to be a problem. I just want to survive, like everyone else." Leora smiled faintly. "You may think that, but some see humans differently. Your survival, what happened to you? It will change how others look at humans." For the next few days, Ethan focused on healing. Leora helped him with exercises, simple movements to strengthen his arms and legs. Slowly, he began to move without assistance. Each small victory felt huge. Leora stayed nearby, sometimes silently, sometimes offering encouragement. "You are stronger than you think," she said one morning. "Your body heals faster than most. And your mind does not give up easily. That is why you survived." Ethan smiled. "I just didn't want to die. That's all." Leora shook her head. "It is more than that. Humans have something rare. You have hope, even when it is hard. You have courage, even when it hurts. That is why the doctors were surprised when you woke up." Ethan felt warmth in his chest. No one had ever spoken to him like that. He felt seen, not just as a patient, but as a person. As he regained strength, he began to meet other members of the crew. Some looked at him with curiosity, others with distrust. The aliens were tall, some with bright blue skin, some with scales, some with shapes he could not name. Their voices were soft or musical, some even clicking like small machines. Ethan tried to remember their names, but it was difficult. One alien, a small engineer named Kyle Moran, approached him carefully. Kyle had soft gray skin and wide eyes. "You are human?" he asked. "Yes," Ethan said, smiling slightly. "Ethan Cole." "Kyle," the alien said. "It is strange to see a human alive. We thought, humans rarely survive what you went through." Ethan shrugged. "I guess I'm lucky." Kyle smiled. "Perhaps. Or perhaps humans are stronger than we thought." "How po?" Not all crew members were welcoming. One officer, Varric, a tall alien with dark green skin and narrow eyes, watched Ethan carefully. He whispered to others in the hall, and sometimes Ethan felt their eyes on him, judging. Leora noticed this and stayed close. "You have to be careful," she said one evening. "Not all of them like you. Some believe humans are dangerous. Some fear you too much." Ethan frowned. "I don't understand. I didn't do anything wrong. I just survived." "That is enough," Leora said softly. "Surviving can be dangerous if others do not understand it." Ethan tried to understand. He had always thought being human was ordinary. But here, in this strange ship, he realized humans were unusual, strong in ways aliens did not fully understand. That thought made him feel both proud and nervous. One day, a small alarm sounded. The medical deck began to shake slightly. Leora rushed forward, and Ethan followed as best he could. He saw several injured aliens being tended by the medical team. Leora took his hand. "You need to stay close," she said. "We cannot let anyone get hurt." Suddenly, a panel slid open, and sparks flew. Ethan froze, but then remembered the drills Leora had shown him. He ran to help, moving small debris out of the way, just as he had seen the crew do. One injured alien, who had fallen near a console, cried out. Ethan lifted the alien carefully, following Leora's instructions. "Good," Leora said, her voice bright with relief. "You are learning quickly." Ethan felt pride and fear at the same time. He had never imagined himself helping others so soon after nearly dying, but he realized something important. He could make a difference, even here, even in this strange world. After the emergency, the captain of the ship, Rylan, spoke to Ethan. "You have done well," he said, his voice firm but calm. "But be aware. Some on this ship do not trust you. You must earn their respect. And that may not be easy." Ethan nodded. He did not fully understand, but he wanted to try. Leora squeezed his hand. "Do not worry," she said. "I will be with you." As days passed, Ethan learned more about the ship. He saw laboratories with glowing equipment, cargo bays full of strange supplies, and corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The technology was beyond anything he had seen on Earth, and he realized how little humans really knew about the universe. Despite the wonder, he could feel the tension around him. Some crew members avoided him. Some whispered. Varric's eyes followed him everywhere. Ethan wondered what he had done to make the alien officer suspicious. One evening, Leora took him to the observation deck again. Stars stretched infinitely outside. Ethan watched, thinking of Earth, of his life before the explosion, of the ship he had been on. He thought of his family, friends, and home. He did not know if he would see them again. "You think about home," Leora said softly. "It is natural. But you must also think about now. About being alive." You survived. That is a gift, Ethan. He looked at her. I survived. Because you cared. You stayed with me. You saved me. Leora's green eyes glistened. I told you. I could not leave you. And now, you are learning. You are growing. That is why I stay. That is why I cannot let you be alone here. Ethan realized something he had never thought about before. It was not just the survival, not just the healing. Someone had chosen to believe in him, to care for him, even when it seemed impossible. That choice had given him life. And now, it was giving him purpose. Over the next week, Ethan continued to regain strength. He walked longer distances without help. He learned to use some of the ship's simple equipment, and he began to understand the basics of alien communication. Leora stayed close, always encouraging, always guiding. One afternoon, while walking through a quiet corridor, Ethan overheard Varric speaking to another officer. The human is dangerous. He survived something impossible. If the wrong people know, it could cause chaos. Ethan's stomach tightened. He had never thought of himself as dangerous. He just wanted to live. But now he realized that surviving had made him important, noticed, and feared. Later, Leora found him sitting quietly, looking troubled. What is wrong? She asked. I heard Varric, Ethan said softly. He thinks I'm dangerous. That I could cause chaos. I don't understand. Leora sat beside him. Some do not understand humans. They see strength and fear it. They see courage and mistrust it. That is why you must be careful. But you are not alone. I will stay with you. Ethan nodded. Her words brought comfort. He still felt fear, but also something new. Determination. He had survived death once. Now he would survive the doubts, the fear, and whatever else awaited him. That night, as Ethan lay in the medical room, he thought of Leora. He thought of the stars, the strange technology, the aliens who watched him with suspicion. He realized that being alive was not just about surviving injury. It was about learning, about growing, about finding a place in a universe that seemed too large to understand. And for the first time, Ethan felt ready. He would face whatever came next. He would survive, and maybe, he would show the aliens that humans were not just unpredictable or dangerous. They were capable of courage, of care, of something rare and powerful. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling the hum of the ship around him. Leora was nearby, silent but present. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers, full of questions he could not yet answer, but he was alive, and that was enough. For now, it was enough. Ethan Cole had begun to feel stronger. His body was healing, and he could walk through the ship's long corridors without support. Each day brought him new confidence, but also a sense of caution. Not everyone on the alien ship welcomed him. He knew that some crew members, like Varric, still watched him with suspicion. Leora stayed close, guiding him wherever he went. The ship is large, she said one morning. You must be careful. Some areas are restricted. Ethan nodded. I will follow your lead. The observation deck had become his favorite place. He liked to look at the stars and the planets floating nearby. They reminded him that there was a bigger world outside the ship, and yet, he also knew that danger could come from inside, not just outside. One day, while walking through the engineering bay, he noticed something strange. A few crew members whispered to each other and glanced at him nervously. He could not understand their language completely, but the tone made him uneasy. Who are they? He asked Leora quietly. They are engineers, she said, keeping her voice low. Some are suspicious of you. Varric speaks to them often. They worry about humans because your survival is unusual. Please, Ethan frowned. They think I'm dangerous. Because I lived? Leora nodded. Yes. To them, surviving when others would die is alarming. They cannot understand it. Some fear it. Ethan shook his head. I don't understand why surviving would be a problem. It is not a problem for everyone, Leora said softly. But fear can make people act strangely. You must be careful. A few days later, a small emergency shook the ship. A power fluctuation caused alarms to ring and lights to flicker. Ethan felt the floor tremble slightly beneath his feet. Leora grabbed his hand. "Stay close," she warned. "We need to help the injured first." Ethan followed her to the medical deck. Several injured crew members lay on tables, and machines beeped rapidly. The medical staff was busy, and Leora quickly guided Ethan to help. "Move that panel," she said, pointing to a console that had fallen. "Hurry!" Ethan pushed with all his strength. The panel was heavy, but he managed to lift it enough for a wounded alien to crawl out. The alien's eyes were wide with fear, and he whispered something Ethan could not understand. "You saved him," Leora said, looking at Ethan with pride. "You are learning quickly." Ethan felt a thrill. He had been terrified at first, but now he realized he could help. He could make a difference, even as a human in a ship full of aliens. After the emergency, Captain Ryland spoke to Ethan privately. "You handled yourself well," he said. "You showed courage and quick thinking. But remember, not all will see it that way. Some still fear you." Ethan nodded. "I understand. But I just want to help." "You are different from most humans we have heard of," Ryland said. "That can be a problem, or a gift. Learn to use it wisely." As Ethan moved through the ship, he began to notice more of the crew's reactions. Some smiled at him now, showing trust. Kyle Moran, the engineer, walked beside him often, explaining parts of the ship and how it worked. Kyle's calm voice and patient guidance made Ethan feel welcome. Other aliens still avoided him. Their whispers were faint but constant. Varric watched him everywhere, his narrow eyes calculating and suspicious. Ethan realized he could not ignore the tension. He had to prove himself, not just to Leora or Kyle, but to the entire crew. One afternoon, Leora invited him to the training area. "You need to learn about safety," she said. "Even if humans are strong, accidents can happen." The room was filled with holographic training equipment. Ethan tried simple exercises first, learning to respond quickly to sudden alarms and unexpected situations. He stumbled at first, but Leora encouraged him. "You are doing well," she said. "Humans can be unpredictable, yes. But you are learning faster than most." Ethan smiled faintly. "I want to survive, and I want to show them humans can be more than what they fear." Leora's eyes softened. "That is why I stay with you. I believe in you, Ethan." Their bond grew stronger with each day. Leora shared stories of the Oralis Union, explaining their missions to help those in need, their code of ethics, and their struggles with other alien factions. Ethan listened carefully, absorbing the information. "You survived something incredible," Leora said one evening. "Not many humans could. That makes you special. But it also puts you in danger. Some do not like what humans can do." Ethan thought about it. He had always believed humans were ordinary. But now he saw that survival, courage, and quick thinking made humans rare in the eyes of the galaxy. It was a strange feeling to be both powerful and vulnerable at the same time. One night, Ethan was walking through a quiet corridor when he overheard Varric speaking to another officer. "The human is dangerous. His survival is unusual. We cannot risk letting others see this. It could cause unrest." Ethan felt his stomach tighten. He had never considered himself dangerous. He had only wanted to live. Yet now he understood that being alive had made him important, noticed, and feared. Later, Leora found him sitting quietly in the observation deck. Stars stretched endlessly outside. "You are thinking too much," she said softly. "I overheard Varric," Ethan admitted. "He thinks I'm dangerous, that I could cause chaos." Leora sat beside him. "He fears what he does not understand. Humans are unpredictable. That is why you must be careful. But you are not alone. I am with you. Others will learn to see the truth in time." Ethan nodded. Her words gave him comfort. He felt a mixture of fear and determination. He had survived once. He could survive this. The next day, another minor crisis shook the ship. A small mechanical failure caused part of the cargo bay to collapse. Ethan and Leora ran to help. Debris blocked the path to injured crew members. Ethan remembered the previous emergency and acted without hesitation. He lifted heavy panels, guided the wounded to safety, and helped the medical staff stabilize those injured. Several crew members watched in awe. Some whispered to each other, clearly impressed. Kyle Moran patted Ethan on the back. "You are learning quickly," he said. "Humans are stronger than many of us thought." Even Varric, who had been cold and critical, observed silently. Ethan could feel the tension between fear and respect in the alien officer's gaze. After the incident, Leora stood beside Ethan. "See, you are showing them who you really are," she said. "You are more than they imagined." Ethan smiled faintly. "I just want to help." "You are doing more than that," Leora said. "You are changing their minds." Over the next few days, Ethan continued to prove himself. He learned more about the ship's technology, about how to operate simple systems, and how to assist in emergencies. Each task, no matter how small, gave him confidence. Each day, he grew stronger, faster, more aware of the ship and its crew, but he also realized that not all danger came from accidents. Some crew members still watched him with suspicion. He could feel whispers, sideways glances, quiet conversations that stopped when he approached. It reminded him that surviving did not mean he was fully safe. One afternoon, Leora brought him to a restricted area near the engineering deck. "I want to show you something," she said. "But you must stay focused. This area is dangerous if you do not understand it." Ethan followed, curious and cautious. He saw complex machinery, glowing panels, and tools he had never seen before. Leora explained how the systems worked, what could go wrong, and how he could help prevent accidents. "This is why humans are unusual," she said. "You think quickly. You adapt. You learn fast. That is rare." Ethan felt pride swell in him. He had always wanted to survive. Now, he was beginning to understand that his survival had given him more than life, it had given him purpose. That evening, Ethan returned to the observation deck alone for a moment. Stars stretched endlessly outside. He thought of Earth, of the people he had left behind, of the life he might never see again. But he also thought of Leora, of Kyle Moran, of the other crew members who had begun to trust him. He realized something important. Surviving was not enough. To truly live, he had to earn trust, show courage, and prove that humans were more than fear and stories. As he looked at the stars, Ethan made a silent promise to himself. He would face the challenges ahead. He would protect the crew, help those in need, and show that humans could be brave, caring, and strong. And he would stay close to Leora, who had saved him, believed in him, and shown him that life, even in a strange part of the universe, was worth living. The quiet hum of the ship surrounded him. Ethan felt ready. The next dangers would come, but he knew he could meet them. Not just as a survivor, but as someone who could change minds, hearts, and maybe even the galaxy's view of humans. For the first time, Ethan felt more than hope. He felt purpose.